Look at him.
Now it's time for one of our featured bouts. Brian Romero and Michael Almendariz.
Grants, New Mexico, Michael Almendariz. His opponent in the blue corner, representing the Esquibel boxing team, Brian Romero.
Now this one should be a dandy. Michael Almendariz out of Grants, New Mexico. He'll be wearing the beige colored shirt. There you see the referee starting the fight. We're underway for 3 rounds now. This is the 13 and 14-year-old age group and the weight division 95-pound weight limit. Brian Torito Romero in the black shirt with the black trunks and red trim. Brian is an outstanding young amateur fighter representing Esquibel's Boxing Club. And already you see the standing 8 count being counted over against Michael Almendariz as Brian Romero went to work on the body there, and you see him non-stop punching. Brian El Torito Romero, this kid with a record of 9-2 so far in his 11 amateur fights. There you see him again just banging away on his opponent. Now Almendariz backs up, and that's the second 8 count. 2 standing 8 counts already in this match. You can see that Almendariz isn't terribly hurt. He's just being out-hustled here by Brian Romero. Good boxing skills on the part of Romero, and you see him now charging in behind the jab and then goes to work on the body now. Almendariz with his back against the ropes trying to answer back. Both men are trading shots here. Look at Brian Romero go. The little Torito, Brian Romero. 2 standing 8 counts against his opponent already, and I think he'd like to get in there and score one more and finish this thing. There you see him again with his man in the corner, but Almendariz is trying to answer back, but Brian Romero just outworking him. And the bell saves Michael Almendariz from getting stopped in that one. Boy, he was real close to taking another 8 count. There you're looking into the corner of Brian Romero, 14 years old. His coach is the one and only Freddie Esquibel. And this kid is really something. He was the 1996 National Junior Golden Gloves champion. He also picked up the State Silver Gloves Championship in '96, and also the same year, 1996, he was the State Junior Olympic Champion. So last year was a good year for him, and he expects to have another banner year, and he's hoping to get things started with a victory here against Michael Almendariz of Grants. As we're just about ready now to start the second round. It's been all Brian Romero to this point. Round 2 underway now. You're watching the 8 Count Boxing Hour on Community Cable Channel 27 here in Albuquerque. And you see the man in the black uniform, the black shirt, Brian Romero, being aggressive. But this time Almendariz answers. There you see some good right hands to the body by Almendariz. But look at Brian Romero just bull his way forward. And now a warning to Romero to keep his head up. He was just kind of lowering his head and charging in. Again, you can see that Brian Romero is the man who is putting on the pressure, pushing his opponent back into the ropes just about every exchange. And you can see Michael Almendariz now trying to do a little boxing, trying to move, and he lands a right hand. And what have we got here? We have a stop in the action. Dr. Edwin Cruz taking a good look at Almendariz. And there you see Brian Romero getting ready to go back to work here. So far this bout has been all Brian Romero from Esquibel's Boxing Club. Brian Romero, a national champion, the 1996 Junior Golden Gloves champion. And again, you can see him pushing his way forward, imposing his will on his opponent. Almendariz would try to set up and catch his man coming in, but Romero is outworking him. And now another warning going to Brian Romero for lowering his head. And he better watch it because he could lose a point there. Ooh, there's a good right hand by Almendariz. And now Almendariz again with a right hand. Coming to life now, Michael Almendariz at the buzzer. So 2 rounds down, 1 to go. Michael Almendariz, who you're looking at there from Grants, fighting out of the VFW post 3221 in Grants. And he didn't have a good round, but at the end of the round, he started to come to life and score some good shots against Brian Romero. And Almendariz, who took 2 standing 8 counts in the opening round, has started to come on a little bit in the second round, so we'll see what he can do in the third. But so far, at least in my book, I have to have Brian Romero with 2 rounds to nothing lead in this one. Again, we're looking into the corner of Brian Torito Romero. 9-2 as an amateur, just a young man getting started here, 14 years old. A state and national champion in boxing. And again, Dr. Edwin Cruz in the corner of Michael Almendariz, just making sure that he's okay. He did take quite a bit of punishment in that opening round and for the first part of the second round. Action coming to you from the South San Jose Community Center, now the Jack Candelaria Community Center in South Albuquerque. Jorge Casanova putting on this show, bringing fighters from around the state and Colorado. So here we go with round 3 now. We're in the 95-pound division, 13 and 14-year-olds. Brian Torito Romero in the black uniform with the red trim. His opponent, Michael Almendariz out of Grants, New Mexico. And again, this fight just takes the same pattern. Brian Romero pushing his way forward, imposing his will on his opponent, keeping Michael Almendariz back against the ropes. And really, Michael should be slipping out and getting out of those ropes. But he's willing to be pinned there, and Brian Romero takes advantage of it, just continues to work. The referee letting the two just work in the corner there. They have to break themselves. And now you see Almendariz trying to move forward, and now Brian Romero doing a little bit of boxing here as he steps to the side. And look at Brian Romero now, doing a little footwork, doing a little bit of boxing here. He has the lead in this fight. Comes in with the jab now. There's a good straight left. So Brian Romero showing his versatility here. He started off as a charging bull, taking over with his brute force, and now he's showing a little bit of boxing skill, changing the fight plan a little bit on his opponent. Brian Romero, a versatile fighter. You can see why he is a national champion. The guy can do it all. He can fight, he can box, he can brawl. Dan Cisneros at ringside. You're watching the 8-Count Boxing Hour here again on Community Cable Channel 27, only in Albuquerque. And now both men trading right hands. Romero now trying to answer back, sticks that left hand into the face of Almendariz. And again, Almendariz falling back into the ropes, almost to the corner now. At the buzzer, which ends this fight, 3 rounds in the book, so it goes the distance. It didn't look like it would last in the first round, but Brian Romero and Michael Almendariz take us all the way to the final round. And now let's see who won this fight.
In the blue corner, Brian Romero. Gloria Candelaria.
So Brian Romero with a tremendous win, and the next fight, Rolando Roguez of Casanova's boxing team won by walkover. His opponent, Steve Cardenas of Georgia's from Colorado, not able to show up, and Roguez wins by walkover. And now we get into some